This is the WWE NXT July 22, 2025 full show results video which takes place at Houston, Texas. The show started with a mixed tag team match between Hank and Tank and Zaruka versus The Culling. We see Vance and Ledger are brawling, big headbutt from Nico, headed up top, Tank rolls away from the diving headbutt. Women in, Zaruka get Paxley down and out in the corner, Soul with a handspring splash off of Zarya but Dame breaks it up. Fireman's carry, Tatum slips out, Zarya plucks spears off the turnbuckles and hits the F5 on him. Paxley rolls her up with a schoolboy, only a near fall, the lights go down and Dark State is here. The lights come back up and Tatum has Zarya in a side press, and the result of this match was The Culling won the match by pinfall with a side press from Tatum Paxley on Zarya. Back from commercial, we get earlier today footage of Ava Raine banning Jordynne Grace from the arena tonight. Fatal Influence make their entrance and JC Jane gets on the mic and she asks if this picture isn't worth $1 million and like it or hate it. JC runs women's wrestling, because not only is she your NXT Women's Champion, she's now your TNA Knockouts Champion. She talks about being a history maker and a moment maker. Then comes Lash Legend, wearing a crop top with a picture of a horse on it for some delightful reason. She says JC might be at the top but she's gonna downward spiral real fast because it's time for her to lash out. Everybody was talking about one woman at Evolution, and it wasn't JC, it's the bougie bully. She proved that she's the most dominant force in NXT and she's gonna get one of those titles. Then comes Jada Parker and she doesn't want to take Legends flowers from her but she needs her to do herself a favor and look around, cause this is NXT and Jada Parker has a direct line to the title. She says she's walking reality check in the face and the future of the women's division. JC says she's glad they think this highly of themselves and she's gonna let them discuss this among themselves. She immediately tells her girls to get but Jasmine, Nyx and Fallon Henley refuse to move a muscle. So Jane waits a beat and attacks them herself, and Nyx and Henley reluctantly throw themselves into the fray and the babyfaces end up standing tall. Back from commercial, no quarter catch crew are trying to give Ren Sinclair a pep talk when Miles Bourne rolls up. He's not in NQCC anymore but he's still here to support Ren. Lexus King does something noisy in the background and they resume their pep talk and head off. The next match happened between Jasper Troy versus Ricky Saints. We see both men down and out on the floor, back on their feet, fighting up the ramp into the stage, where Jasper throws Ricky into the LED screen. Saints collapses through a broken chunk of stage and Troy lands a senton on him. Referee counting, Jasper back on his feet and trying to get back to the ring, he beats the count, and Jasper Troy won the match by countout. Back from the commercial, Trick Williams makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he says he main event TNA's biggest show and at Slammiversary he faced two of the best TNA had to offer and he beat them both and that makes him the unequivocally the greatest TNA World Heavyweight Champion of all time. He knows they don't like him over there at TNA, he's dropping records, diss tracks, and anybody that gets in his way. He turns his attention to the LFG kids and says they snitched out and called their coach, The Undertaker. He's here to spit facts and it is a fact that The Undertaker is the one of the greatest of all time and he's in the Hall of Fame for a reason but it's a fact that he's never held down two brands at the same time. LFG got The Undertaker disrespected in tweetin' and he thinks they got him soft, too. He's got no problems being the man to call out The Undertaker because he's Trick Williams and this is Trick in a, dead man bring your ass out here. American Badass plays and The Undertaker comes out on the stage with no hat, no coat, ready to give Trick a piece of his mind. He gets on the mic and says Williams is a dead man walking, and he's got that nice title and the bling, and is his jacket genuine cowhide, he's got it all except for one thing, respect. And as long as he has this attitude, losing the title ain't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That attitude will be his downfall, and the walls are gonna start crumbling down. He's seen it a million times, his attitude is rotten and it's exactly what he tries to teach to his LFG team. Trick interrupts and says he don't give a damn about his LFG team. Nobody on LFG is a superstar like Trick Williams, nobody in NXT is a superstar like Trick Williams, nobody in WWE is a superstar like Trick Williams. Undertaker asks if that's right and offers one more piece of advice, you're a little too light in the ass to step to an OG. You wanna dance with the devil, he can flip that switch right quick, and he'll make you famous, and then Undertaker delivered a chokeslam to Trick. Back from commercial, Fatal Influence are chatting backstage when Michelle McCool rolls up to offer advice on which member should get which match vis-a-vis Lash Legend and Jada Parker. The next match happened between Blake Monroe versus Ren Sinclair. Monroe takes Sinclair into the corner and puts boots to her, pressing the attack, out of the corner, kneeling chicken wing chinlock, Ren gets out of it, off the ropes, running one-handed bulldog for a near fall, underhooks, Blake slings her into the ropes and clocks her with a headbutt, and then delivered butterfly DDT, and won the match by pinfall. Post-match, Blake goes to cut a promo but Jordynne Grace fights through the crowd and a pile of security to beat Monroe up. Fending off security by the fistful, Blake goes out after her and headbutts her, and delivered butterfly DDT into a steel chair and Jordynne is out. Back from commercial, All Ego Ethan Page is holding a summit for the NXT North American Championship in the ring. He says he's the greatest NXT North American champion ever and 17 Americans held him before it, and he intends to bring more pride, dignity, and class to the title than all of them combined. If his parents had made different decisions he might have ended up like all of the crowd, but he didn't, because he was born in Canada. Going forward, the title will no longer represent the continent of North America, because what the title represents is an absolute lie. He was born in Canada but made in America, and that makes him the greatest North American alive and affords him the privilege of doing this. He throws the old title belt out of the ring and unveils a new North American Championship of the same basic design, but the leather is painted like the Canadian flag. He says he's just proud of being from Canada, and now the title will come with the Canadian standard of excellence. He asks that we all rise for the Canadian national anthem, which he sings himself in a Nikolai Volkov voice rather than have an American butcher it. Then comes Santino Marella and says the people here are good hard-working people, but he can't relate to that because he's a bumhole boy. Anyway, he challenges All Ego and says he'll see him next week. Page says he wants to go tonight, but Santino gets the Cobra out and Ethan runs away. Trick Williams is stumbling backstage trying to find some weights for his ass, probably when he runs into Oba Femi. JC Jane pushes her way through them and Oba gives Trick a look before walking off. Back from commercial, Yoshiki Inamura rolls up on J. Yvonne Evans for some advice. Evans says he's not even 21 yet and Inamura walks away, but J. Yvonne calls him back and says he'll talk it out. Yoshiki is worried he's a bad friend to Josh Briggs and Evans says they're walking different paths and that's cool. Inamura says sometimes he doesn't like what Briggs does and J. Yvonne says sometimes you can love somebody and not like him, you feel me? Yoshiki literally grabs him by the shoulders and says he feels him. No Quarter Catch crew are chatting backstage when Bubba Ray Dudley walks up and tells Charlie Dempsey to tell him to walk away. When he doesn't, Bubba walks over to Ren and says he's proud of her and then sets up another Tavian Heights vs Charlie Dempsey match where if Tavian wins, he's out of NQCC, but if Charlie wins, Heights stays in NQCC with a smile on his face. Then Lexus King rolls up and says he knows Miles Bourne isn't deaf because he's been wearing noise-canceling headphones and he can hear him just fine. Bourne tells him everybody wishes King was mute and walks off. We get a Twitter promo from Roman Reigns where he sets up a tag team match, him and Jey Uso against the Braun and Braun Connection. In the main event of the show, we saw a triple threat match between Josh Briggs vs Oba Femi vs Yoshiki Inamura for the NXT Championship, and the result of this match was Oba Femi won the match by pinfall after hitting the powerbomb on Josh Briggs, retaining the NXT Championship. We cut back to J. Yvonne Evans in his notebook and the Undertaker rolls up and offers his advice, which is that you keep going after the biggest dog in the yard, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's NXT show? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching.